Hello everyone, I'm Kavitha Radhakrishnan and I'm really excited to have here with me today Jyotsna Vaidee. She is the founder and artistic director of Samudra Dance Creations. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Kavita.
So let's start with the first question. Why Samudra?
Dance has been a passion for me like throughout my life, and as you know, I'm also a product manager at Google and have had a long tech career. But it's dance has sort of been this parallel stream that has run throughout. And at this point in my dance career, I really felt that creating a dance company which becomes a platform to bring artists together, bring dancers, musicians, poets, potentially even visual artists in the future, and create interesting work was why I founded Samudra. And we did our first production last year called The Caged Birds, which was around the theme of women's empowerment. And then I have some new exciting news, as you know, for this year.
That's awesome. I really enjoyed watching The Caged Bird last year, and I'm really excited to hear about Earth Speaks, which is premiering at the San Francisco International Arts Festival on May 25th at 5:30 p.m. Please tell us a little bit more about the inspiration behind the Earth Speaks.
Earth Speaks is definitely a production that's near and dear to my heart. I started thinking about it actually a couple years ago when I was on a family trip to the Columbian ice fields. For those of you who don't know, it's in the Glacier National Park in Canada, which is where I'm from. My parents live in Alberta in Canada and have been there for many decades. And so I took my kids back there, and as we were heading up to the glaciers, the guides could not stop talking about how much these glaciers had receded. And I had been to these places as a kid, and as a high school kid, as a college kid, this was like a yearly kind of family vacation place, and I could visibly see the difference. And while we all know climate change is important and we talk about it, as an artist, the only thing I could think of was to create a piece of art that can speak to this topic, and that's how it all began, and that's where I started researching, and we now have this production that it's, I would say it's still a work in progress, and we're premiering like the first kind of segment of it at the SFIF.
That's a great story, but it's also interesting that you took that inspiration, but the approach that you've taken in terms of telling that story is very different. Can you tell us a little bit more about the approach?
Sure. So the approach we took was, in this production, we basically have we tell the story through the voice of the earth, and we represent her as a woman. So a woman who is a metaphor for the earth. And part of it started with this idea of like, what would she say if she was standing right here in front of us? What would she say about climate change? It's something that's happening to her. And the other thing is, only in art can you humanize abstract things. Like you can humanize the earth. When we show an elephant, the elephant can have feelings. The emotions of the elephant can be expressed, or even rain, can talk. So that's sort of the approach we've taken with the Earth Speaks, where it is the story of a woman, a very empowered woman, I must say, and you'll hear that through the poetry. A very empowered woman, a woman that we say in the poetry has been around for 4.6 billion years, and much longer than we as humans have on this planet. So that's the approach we've taken, and I think that has created an interesting way to tell the story tell her story.
That is absolutely beautiful, and I love how you've taken your theme of women empowerment through The Caged Bird into The Earth Speaks, but from such a very different dimension.
Right.
So then, what should someone walk away with? Why should someone come see this show?
Oh wow! First off, I really hope all of you will come watch our show. I think it's many months in the making, and we will continue to be working on this. In fact, through this year, even past the SFIF. The the reasons to come watch the show. Well, I think first off, for me, I think this is a high quality production. We have, very highly trained dancers, lovely musicians, some of the best of Bay Area's Carnatic musicians. We also have a couple of Western musicians involved, and poetry, like really beautiful poetry, original poetry written by my friend. So a lot of original work coming together. So hopefully it will be a lovely evening of classical art, telling a very, very contemporary story. Besides that, I think this is a theme that really cuts across cultures, and it cuts across any kind of boundaries. It's relevant to all of us on this planet, this moment, in our lives. So hopefully, it's something that everybody can connect with. And lastly, as it is with art, I hope that each person that comes takes away something different, and leaves with a different, potentially could leave with a different message, a different call to action, or maybe just a feeling. And so that's all the reasons why I hope that people come to watch our show. It's applicable, like I said, across cultures, and definitely applicable to kids just as much as to adults. This is, in fact, a project where I have discussed a lot with my 10-year-old daughter, and she's learned a lot, and I've learned a lot, even just seeing this unfold through her eyes in a way. So, hope to see everybody at the show.
Absolutely. It sounds like a fantastic evening with both deeper meaning as well as just an appreciation of the dance form. Thank you so much, Jyotsna.
Thank you, Kavitha.